Do you want to become a talk show host? Do you have a great idea? Passionate World Talk Radio is currently looking for podcast hosts for our Internet Talk radio station. Please email us at pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com with your name, email address, cell phone number, and podcast topic. In return, you will receive a 3-minute intro on air to a live audience about your podcast. Remember, just email us your name, email address, and your podcast topic, and in return, you will receive a free 3-minute intro on the air. How cool is that? Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain.
Hi, everybody. This is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, where we educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host or the station. I want to thank Jeannie White for writing the blog, producing the show. Please read the blog for information, folks. It's very important. It has information about the guest. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio Network, who gives people a chance to be heard. Thank you, ladies. Folks, I'm excited. You're going to want to listen to this podcast because, boy, do we ever need somebody like my guest in these times. My guest is a relationship and communication coach, and she has some great ideas. I love talking to her, and I think you're going to want to listen and take heed to what my guest is going to talk about, because whether you're a caregiver, man, woman, or child, teenager, you need to know how to communicate, right, with your family, with your partner, with your spouse, and also to be self-aware. We need more self-awareness. So I want to welcome my guest, Marilyn Sutherland. Welcome, Marilyn.
Hi, Betsy. Thank you so much. I'm excited.
You're welcome. I'm excited, too. So can you tell the audience, Marilyn, in case people are wondering, okay, well, what does a relationship and communication coach do, and why would I need one?
Good question. It doesn't occur to most people. So what I do, I mean, a lot of people work on, when you hear relationship coach, you think about dating or marriage. And I do have those conversations with people. But what I'm interested in is people having the fundamental skills. And at the end, I'll talk about my relationship school, a program I just launched. And I say it's the place where you go to get the training that we never got in school. Most of us, nobody ever taught us. How do you communicate with someone so that you feel connected and it's nurturing? Nobody ever talks about that, or how to listen, or how to make a request, how to manage your feelings. And my website is Love, Lead, Connect. And I work with people in business, too, to show up powerfully at their work. But the connection part is about connecting to others and yourself. And if we're not good with ourselves, it's hard to show up powerfully with anyone else. So I focus on fundamental skills that we need to make connections with people so that we can coordinate action and, get what we need and give to others what they need.
Very good. A lot of times, I'm learning this myself in my 60s. So it's too late to learn, folks. Sometimes we react to people, and we just quick to react back, and sometimes in a negative way, where we need to, I think, hold space and maybe think about what that person said. And if it's really hot, give yourself 24 hours to respond if you have to. So you come from a place of love. What do you think of that, Marilyn?
Totally. That is exactly it. In a way, that's kind of what drove me to focus on relationship and communication skills. I was a business coach, and I worked with culture and communication at work. But really, I think it's all about love. Now, love at work is different than love with your family or friends or love with strangers. But if we have an open heart and a caring heart, and I think most of us do want to interact with people that way, then, yeah, we have to be aware when we get hooked. And one of the things, I wrote a book called Why Did You Load the Dishwasher Like That? 9 Whopping Mistakes That Push Love Away. And the book also talks about almost 40 healthy habits. And a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about are touched on one way or another in my book. But when we're little, things happen and we don't know how to react. So we withdraw, we rebel, we yell. And whatever we do, if it kind of works, that becomes part of our go-to habits. And unfortunately, when you're 5 or 7 or 9, you're going to be reacting differently than you are when you're 30, 40, 50, 60. And
we hope so.
We hope so.
Right, we hope so.
But most of us, we don't. We have those patterns unless we actively work on it because they're long-standing habits. Then that's going to be our go-to reaction. And we literally have to program ourselves and rewire our brains. And nobody knows how to do that unless you're a, neurobiologist or you follow that, which a lot of people do now more than before. But there's simple ways that you can change your habits. And that's part of what I work on with people. And it takes, maybe a few weeks or months to make these changes and really be in a new groove. But it's worth it because if you can stop from lashing out, that's a big deal, especially, if you're a caregiver or a parent or at work have difficult people that you work with, difficult for you, and they hook you, and then you lash out or react or withdraw, then those behaviors don't, in the end, support us, even though they worked when you were 5, 7, 9.
That's right. Full agreement, Marilyn. I wish there was people like you back when I was growing up, even in my early 20s to 30s, because I think, to go to a relationship communication coach, like you said, it's not always about dating. It's to help the individual deal with the people in their lives and who they work with to have better communication. Great if it helps you with dating, but just to be able to go out in the workplace and get along with your coworkers, who some can really drive you crazy. I saw that where I worked. People get jealous, people get nitpicky. Out come the claws. How do you react to that? This is where someone like you comes in to find out and to, like we were talking earlier about self-awareness, of yourself. That's where people have to start, is with yourself. Yeah. Don't try to fix up other people. Fix yourself, because you can't fix anyone else but yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, people probably have maybe heard this before. When you point at someone else, like you need to do blah, blah, blah. There's one finger pointing at them and 3 fingers pointing back at you. And it doesn't, people will say to me, how do I get my partner to change? Or how do I get my kids to change or whatever? They don't listen to me or whatever. Like, tell me what to do. I'm like, there's nothing to do. You could be kind with them. That's what you do. But to manipulate them or get someone to do something, because they're in their own habits and grooves. And even if they want to, and, there's times when we don't want to act out, but we get hooked and we act out anyway. All you can do is work on yourself. But I tell people all the time, and I work primarily with women, but I do work with men, but I tell people all the time, you be kind to yourself and to the people in your life. You be kind and, come from love, whether it's your boss, your employee, your colleagues, your kids, your parents, your friends. Anytime, somebody who is rude to you when you're checking out at the grocery store. Like, what is it that would have somebody act out? They must be suffering. And when we can have compassion for ourselves and for others, it makes such a difference. And then we don't go through life angry. We go through life with an open heart and compassion. And people sense that and they soften. Most people do. And if they don't, hopefully that's not someone who's going to be in your life all the time. But if it is, then you have to dig deep to deal with that. Because they're not going to change. Or you can't make them. I'm not saying they won't change. But I see all the time when women soften and they start praising the people in their lives and appreciating what they do and not focusing on what they don't do, it's magical. Magical. People start to say, how can I help you? Or what do you need? And the first time you want to just blurt out, what? You care about what I want? Are you kidding me? Don't do that if you can help it. Say, wow, thank you. Thank you for asking me. That is so sweet. Almost everybody, almost everyone. Sometimes there's people in our lives who really are wounded and they just don't have access to their heart. But most people, they will want to do more. So it's really up to us, but we have to be self-aware.
Yes, and I think coming from a place of love, you will have a better reaction from someone. It's that saying, you get attract more bees with honey than with vinegar. People need to, and it's very hard when you're stressed. I know as a past caregiver to always have that loving spirit, but nobody, man or a woman, child, wants to be criticized. That's not how you change somebody. Okay, if I were to say to Marilyn, okay, Marilyn, I love you, but what's wrong with you? And I list A, B, C, and D, you're going to take offense to that. You're not going to change. Yeah. But if I say to you, Marilyn, I really love you, and I love, these positive traits, and try to say something positive. And then, if I didn't, like something or didn't approve, then maybe I could say, hi, Marilyn, did you ever think that when you say this, that I might feel this way? Instead of being accusing and criticizing.
Yeah. Or, one thing just about that is like it's best to say, I feel. When you said that, I feel this way, I don't think that's, that's my reaction. In fact, I have a little story to tell them. Wayne Dyer, who was the personal guru for 50 years, wrote, 40, 50 books. He was amazing. I follow him a lot. He passed away a few years ago. He told a story that when he was doing talks, that he would invite a young person up on stage, a teen, hand them an orange and say, what do you get when you squeeze an orange? And the teen would say, you get orange juice. And he would go, that's right. Then he would turn to the audience and he would say, now here's why we're talking about this. Because what comes out of you when you get squeezed, that's your juice. An orange can't change, but you can change your juice if you don't like it. So when someone squeezes you or you feel squeezed, what comes out of you, it's yours. You can't blame them. You made me angry. No, they didn't. Anger was already inside you. They just poked at you and anger came out. you don't want to have anger come out, well, then that's up to you. You can change your juice.
Absolutely. Yes, that's so true. I heard a pastor say something to that effect. You want to see what a person is really like, shake them up when there's bad times and see what comes out.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And those are our survival habits. That's not who we really are. You know, we have our ego that's trying to survive life and trying to be seen and heard and appreciated and make a difference. And if we do something nice and people don't appreciate it, we're mad. Well, no, they may not even have asked for it, but we did it from our heart. Now we're resentful. Like, we're so complicated in some ways, and yet it's really simple. We're all trying to get seen and have our needs met, and rarely do we get all our needs met. So we're kind of like always, ready to, for most of us, at any point we could get triggered. And I find it very powerful to think it's my juice. It has nothing to do with them. If my husband says something and I'm hurt, that's my juice. I know he doesn't mean to hurt me. Even if he's angry in the moment about something and it comes on me, he's not trying to hurt me. He's doing the best he can. And I can't do anything about him, but I can do something about how I react. We were talking before about sensing your body. When we are triggered in some way, instead of going right to labeling, I'm resentful, I'm angry, if we just sense, close your eyes, put your feet on the floor, just take like a minute or two and scan your body and sense what's happening in my body. You might feel, my chest is tense, my shoulders. I just dropped my shoulders just now, feeling I'm talking and kind of leaning into the phone, and I could feel when I relaxed my shoulders and they dropped. I wasn't even aware of that in the moment. We can feel what we feel in our body and then get curious, what is that, rather than labeling it, oh, I'm angry, oh, I'm agitated, I'm hurt. Feel what's in the body. And the labels don't really help. But if we feel the sensations and we get in our body, we're dropping out of our head and we're dropping into our bodies. And our bodies have its own awareness, separate from what we're thinking. And you can also sense your heart. How does my heart feel? I might feel, my chest I might feel this energy swirling. I think I'm agitated, but if I try not to label, I go, I don't know why I feel that way. Then I sense into my heart. My heart, I might feel hurt. And so, or sad. And I go, oh, what's that? And we want to bring so much kindness to ourselves, the same that we would bring if we're a caregiver or comforting a child or someone else who's got difficulties in their life. We want to be as kind to us as we are to them. And so when we do that, we can begin to understand and have compassion for what we're dealing with.
That's right. That's right. I tell caregivers all the time, show yourself love and kindness like you do your loved one.
Yeah.
And, people think, Marilyn, especially if someone's a caregiver, they think they have to be perfect. And if they're less than perfect, they feel guilty. Oh, I snapped. I shouldn't have done that. And then they beat themselves up about it. It goes into this vicious cycle. And, we're not perfect. And we're going to snap. I tell people, hey, if there's no perfect caregiver, and if you think you are, please contact me immediately because I want you on my show. I want to meet someone who thinks that they are because, you do the best you can with the knowledge that you have. You do, do we react the way we should all the time? No. But, congratulate yourself on when you did react, properly, and not beat yourself up over that one time that you didn't, because You might have been running on adrenaline fumes and not feeling well. As long as you're not being, like I say, abusive, there's, a difference, of course. But we need to show ourselves some forgiveness and kindness and grace.
Yes, that is so true. A friend of mine she's doing caregiving, and she made a comment to me. She said, and we're in a spiritual practice together, and she said, I've been asking, why is this happening? Why? And she said, I think this is a spiritual journey. In a way it is, where we, with the people that we care about, where we're acting in ways that are anger or short-tempered and we don't want to be that way, that's a message to ourselves that we need to increase our self-care. And, I've talked to you about this. I like the term like soul care. And I know it can have a religious meaning, but I don't mean it like that. I just mean like the God in us, the part of us when we're born as a baby and there's that purity. That's still there. It's just covered up with all those survival habits that we have. When we can really not just, do self-care like get a manicure, a pedicure, but actually really nurture our heart and soul and feed ourselves the love and the caring that we want from others, then we have more grace, more capacity to have compassion and express our love for other people because we're feeding ourselves. We're not needing that from other people. And I can't imagine if you're caregiving your partner and they're not able to give you what you need and you're not getting it from anyone else. Oh, you're depleted. You're an empty bank. You've got to fill your own bank. You can't expect them to. Even when you're in a relationship and there is nothing wrong with them, they don't need a caregiver, we still can't expect other people to fill us up. Because when they say, oh, honey, you look good, or I appreciate you, that's great in the moment. But if you don't know you are good and you're doing a good job or you're doing the best you can, then when they say it, that negative thing you were talking about, all the self-criticism, no, I'm not, you're thanking me, but yes, I've been mean to you, and I feel horrible about myself. We can't even let in the compliments.
That's
so
right. Oh, I love what you're saying.
We have
go ahead, Marilyn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have to fill ourselves. And, when you talk about, like, marriage, like in general, or even dating, if you're looking for recognition and acknowledgement to feed you from the outside, it's never enough, ever. Because we have all these criticisms we have of ourselves. So even if they say, you're so kind to me, whatever, no, I'm not. You're beautiful. No, I'm not. I look horrible when I wake up in the morning. My hair's a mess. Don't you see these like breakouts on my face, or I have this rash, or, you're so kind. No, I'm not. I was cranky. We're fighting the acknowledgments. So we have to do that work for ourselves so we can give ourselves grace. And that's hard when you're doing it on your own. It is hard.
Yes. Oh, I so agree with you, Marilyn. I love what you're saying. It took me till the age of 60 to learn all this. So you folks out there that are young need to listen up, because this is very good advice here. You don't need someone to validate you. When I was younger, I thought, I needed someone to validate me and my worth, and now I know that I don't. If we don't feel good about ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, and I'm not talking about, where you're big ego or you're a narcissist. Right. That's not what I'm talking about. But you have to love and accept yourself, flaws and all, before you can accept someone else or their love. And I've been taking self-help courses So I'm learning all this, we're all works in progress. And I just have to say, you know what, if you're a young person, this is the time. If you're older, I'm 63, it's never too late to learn and improve yourself. Get in touch with Marilyn. Go on her website and see what Marilyn has to offer, because I think it would really benefit all people. I really do. I'm very passionate about what you do, Marilyn. I think you're doing a great work and a great service to people that they should get in contact with you.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If we have a little more time, I would like to make some suggestions for people. If you're interested in talking with me, we can do a 30-minute call, no obligation. You can share with me what you're dealing with. And I have a program I just launched in February called Relationship School. I mentioned that earlier. And so if you are clear, you really do need to work on these things. It's a very low-cost way to do it. And we have to practice these things. It's hard to do it on our own. So, that would be a great way if you say, wow, that would, I would love that. And I also offer this complimentary self-assessment on 12 communication and relationship skills. It's actually 60 to 90 minutes. I can't figure out how to do it in less time than that, because I want to give you the space to look at these different areas against the relationships in your life and rate yourself. And I don't care what your rating is. It's up to you to rate yourself, and hopefully you'll be honest with it. And everyone who's done it says it brings them clarity, and it helps people to understand why they have difficulty. Yeah, because you never ask for help from that person, but you expect it. So you're always resentful. But you don't ask. They're not mind readers. You're like, oh, wow. That's the problem.
Yes, very true.
I don't have boundaries with him. No wonder he oversteps them all the time. I've never told him. Yeah. So anyway, if you're interested in any of that, just go to my website, Love Lead Connect, and go to my contact page and just say, hey, I heard you on Betsy's podcast. I'd be interested in talking to you, and I'll send you a calendar link, and you can book a 30-minute appointment or a 90-minute appointment, 30-minute ones first just to start, and if you feel comfortable with me and you want to do more, or if you want to jump right into the self-assessment, that's great too. I do this. Of course, I love when people are like, yes, I would like to work with you, but I don't do it just for that. I really do it as my gift to people, because we all need to have more understanding of how we're showing up with people. And like I said in the title of my book, there's ways that we push people away, and we don't know that. And so we are angry at them, and really we're doing it. And if we just had the insight, we could begin to change our behavior and have sweeter connections with people. And that's what we want. But nobody taught us that. So how are we to learn?
That's right. Marilyn, can you repeat the name of your book again and where people can purchase it?
Yes, it's on Amazon, and it's called, you can just look up Marilyn Sutherland and, search for me. And I'm in 3 books. I wrote 3 chapters in a book, in 3 different volumes of a book series called The Game Changer. And then the other book is mine. And it's Why Did You Load the Dishwasher Like That? 9 whopping.
I love the name of that. Why
way.
Did you load the dishwasher like that?
Yeah. I never know when I say the title, should I stop for a minute so people could laugh? Because most people do laugh about it. And some people say, were you in my kitchen last night? Because I said that to my husband. Or the guys will say, Or the woman, like if I talk to a woman, she'll say, oh, my husband says that to me. He loads the dishwasher. But pretty much people have a story about that. And that's one of the whopping mistakes, is being the smart one, which really means like the smart aleck one, like I know better than you. It's a passive-aggressive thing, like, oh, honey, why did you do it like that? Because it's wrong. That I don't say because it's wrong. But we think, oh, they don't really know I'm criticizing them. Oh, yes, they do, because you know when someone does that, or you think you know when they say something like, oh, wow, why did you fold it this way? Or, oh, I've never seen anyone make the bet that way before. Yeah, they know you're saying, yeah, that's not my way and I don't like it. Or they think it. So, so if people want to know, I mean, are you going to have the links to? I can send you the links to everything, or people can just send me an email on my website, and they can ask me. I'll send them, all the links to. And I have some blog. One of the things I was thinking of, I have a blog that I am going to post in just, pretty soon. And it's about dealing with 1 year plus into the COVID. And even though we're kind of getting back to normal, not really, we're not, it's still discombobulating. And we really need to practice soul care, a deep self-care. And I'll send a link to that. I have an app for guided meditations. It's like a little kind of meditation app. I love it. I just found out about it. It's for, and dancing, a link to free dancing videos that are, you basically move your way. So you don't have to worry about doing it right. And I love them, and it just gets me moving. So I have lots of resources I'm happy to send to people. And anything that gets you in your body, out of your head, and softens your heart, makes you happy, is going to be a good thing. Walks in nature. And if you are a caregiver and you don't have anyone to cover for you, just even have someone from, if you belong to a church, see if somebody could come and just come for an hour. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself. And, just because of what we've been through in the last year, everyone I know has some level of agitation, even if they act like everything's great. All you have to do is poke a little bit. Like ask people, how are you really doing? Has this been hard for you? Yeah, I'm so sick of I was at the dentist this morning. He said, I can't wait to start traveling again. I haven't traveled in a year. I'm like, I'm the same way. We haven't gone anywhere. We used to travel every month. So we're still, no matter what you think, there is still some kind of stress and anxiety that we have. Almost everyone, consciously or unconsciously.
Yes, I agree. I love that word soul. That's SOUL, folks, care. I love it. Marilyn, I hope you will come back to Chatting with Betsy, because we could do a show just on that alone. Just on that alone. And folks, thank you, Marilyn, for coming on and sharing your information. Folks, this is why you need to read the blog, because Jeannie White, station manager, works very hard on writing the blog. And in the blog, it has information about the guest, and that's why it's important to read it and share this podcast to help somebody else. And if you missed any of the show, you can catch it again. I am on all major podcast outlets. I'll name a few: Amazon, Apple, iHeart, iTunes, Amazon Music. It's free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy. I have a lot of informative guests on my show. My show is to help other people. That's my mission. That's my vision. So when you share a podcast, you're helping someone else, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone listening also. So in a world where you could be anything, please be kind. And until we chat again, This is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy and Passionate World Talk Radio Network. Bye-bye, everybody. Be blessed.
Do you want to become a talk show host? Do you have a great idea? Passionate World Talk Radio is currently looking for podcast hosts for our Internet Talk radio station. Please email us at pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com with your name, email address, cell phone number, and podcast topic. In return, you will receive a 3-minute intro on air to a live audience about your podcast. Remember, just email us your name, email address, and your podcast topic, and in return, you will receive a free 3-minute intro on the air. How cool is that? Thank you for listening to Passionate World Talk Radio. You can listen to this program all over again by going over to https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. You can also hear it on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, AMFM247.com every Tuesday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and all the other podcast directories one can find on the Internet.